All right, guys, welcome back to The Build. This episode is a harsh bit of reality that everyone gets backwards. Every one of you listening want to scale the business. You want to make more money. But most of you fail to recognize that a business is grown from the inside out. Now, bear with me. It's not about how do you grow the business. The real question you need to ask yourself is who do you need to become to grow the business? You as the owner, you are the central operator. And you've got 100% responsibility to own the reality of that. Like, you have to own that. Because if the business isn't growing, it's not where you want it to be. It's you. You're the problem. If clients are difficult, it's you. You're the problem. If the team aren't performing, it's you. You're the problem. You are the only common denominator, and most people don't have the humility to own that and take that on their big, broad shoulders. There's a lot of big, hairy-backed men in this industry, but they can't take the truth. And I will always just tell you guys the truth. And I had to understand this myself as well. Look at it and go, right, everything wrong in the business and personal life as well, it's my fault. I need to sort it out. I need to own it, and I need to fucking fix it. Because it's costing you margin. It's costing you net profit. It's costing you the cash flow. It's costing you scaling the business. And ultimately, it's costing you your potential. This is what we need to get right. So specifically, look, it's your way of thinking. How you currently think is what has got you where you are today. That's the facts. Whereas if you change your level of thinking, it will get you to the next level. Because we've all got limiting beliefs. We've all got different attitudes. We've all got different habits. We've all got different skills. And it's about building the skills of grit, perseverance, resiliency, discipline, and an unshakable demeanor, because business will test you so much more than you know. And there's 6 parts that I see of upgrading a business owner. 6 common things that always come up when I sit with people and when I listen to how a business is going and the problems they've got. There's 6 parts to it. And I guarantee, even if you are very successful now, at least one of them will apply to you. And maybe it's all 6, and maybe you've got a lot of work to do, but at least one will. So, number 1. The most common thing that comes up is changing your identity. Because when you start on the tools and when you build a skilled trades business, you just see yourself as a tradesman. You see yourself as a sparky, a plumber, a brickie, a scaffolder, whatever it might be. You don't see yourself as a businessman, an entrepreneur, a winner. You identify as the technician. You identify as the fixer. And you tell yourself bullshit things like the client only wants you. You tell yourself that no one does it as good as you. You tell yourself that you're not a salesman. And you default back to going into delivery rather than owning the business because it feels safe, because it's what you know. And you've learned to feel busy. And you link busy to being successful, but that's not the reality. You subconsciously hire weak people as well because you want to remain on top, because you don't want to be intimidated. You want to be the savior. You want to be the person that I'll take care of this because no one else can do it just like me. But this identity is what keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck. You have to upgrade your level of thinking. Look, if you own a company, you have a limited company at Companies House. You are a businessman. You are not a tradesman anymore. Change how you see yourself. And number 2, you've got to look at going, all right, a business has got to be built on data, hard facts, not emotion. And this is how most people operate. They hide in vague language. You talk roughly, or it's about. I think it's about this much. I believe so. You're vague in how you're speaking. Whereas if you're on site, you're in specifics, millimeter measurements. And what you tend to do is inflate numbers and you make things better than reality because you're not really sure on what's actually going on what you're doing. You don't like hard numbers because you haven't got the control of them. And if you haven't got hard numbers, exactly that. You don't have control of the business. And then by default, the pricing and the costs become reactive. The day then runs you. You don't run the day. And you've got a lack of priority, a lack of awareness of time and the compound effect of that. And you think you've got a grasp of what's going on. But reality is it's all just noise and distraction. A good business is built on data, not just what your gut feel tells you. the information, the numbers, the margins, the profits, the cash flow. And I used to be like this. I used to wing it. Back in the day, I used to be terrible. I used to guess all of the time. Fag packet quotes, things on bits of paper, no real tracking of costs or KPIs of the business. I've been there, I've done that. But now, when I partner in a company, it's the first thing I do is costs, hard numbers, hard figures, basic systems, controlling the data, how many leads, how many inquiries, how many have we won, all of these things. This is the data that matters. And really, the next thing you're going to run into is that a lot of us have low standards in disguise. And I will keep bringing this topic up as standards, because I know for fact that a lot of you are tolerating margins that are slipping. You know you are losing money on jobs. You know there are members of staff that are not good enough. They're not doing it as good as it should be done. You are tolerating customers that are quite demanding, or the wrong customers. You know you should have said no to them. But you've got a fear around saying no to them and owning them. And you know that there are jobs that are not fully complete. There's been corners cut maybe, and you're avoiding it. You're avoiding poor communication and not confronting the root cause of the issues. Maybe you've got slow payers and you're not chasing them. Maybe you've got variations coming up and you're not getting them formally agreed and approved. And I know the reality is that you really want to be liked by everyone and you want to avoid conflict. And you think that if you ask too much of your staff and team, they might leave, which is just total bullshit. You think that you can't say no to a client because you fear they will just go to somewhere else. Whereas in reality, clients want to be led. The good clients want to be led. And you're not marketing or selling enough because you've got a fear of rejection on some level. And most of you just wait for the business to come to you. You wait for the word of mouth. You wait for the phone to ring. You wait for the inquiry to come through on the email inbox. You're not going out there. You're not becoming the authority. You're not building the brand. You're not growing the business. And if you're not doing that, you're not in control of growth. And this is why I believe that coaching doesn't work. Because it's all one thing learning about what to do, but all of these things I'm talking about, this is the nitty-gritty of business. It's about having that backbone daily in a company. And this is why a partnership works better, because it's these little micro decisions of not letting you off the hook, because we've all had bad days. We all take our eye off the ball sometimes. But structure, discipline, accountability is a full-time job. That's not a course in a hotel room somewhere. That's not a coach once a month telling you how well are you doing. This is the nitty-gritty of running a business and raising those standards. And next, I think, look, in reality, most of you are addicted to chaos. You actually thrive on last-minute action, thriving on pressure. How many of you have ever said, oh, look, I thrive on pressure? And you say that as if that's a really successful trait, and that's not success. That just means that you put shit off until it's too late, and it will inevitably go wrong. It means you're leaving things to the last minute, and you've just trained yourself to be inefficient, whereas a good business is organized and structured from the front end all the way through to the back end. Because if you're busy with emails, and your day is prioritized by the emails, you're busy with the calls, the phone just goes relentlessly off the hook, or you're on site and you've got no strategy, you've got no systems, you've got no leverage. You're just being reactive and getting pulled into everything. You're just acting like a pig in shit. And the difference is you wrestle with a pig, the pig likes it, but you're the one covered in shit. Like, you've got no boundaries. And the reality is it's because you think you're important by putting out fires. And calm and controlled feels like you're not making progress. Chaos feels like success to you because you've learned from the wrong people. You've learned the wrong things. And ultimately, when you own a company, you've always got to be weighing up and looking at your time. Are you being busy or are you being effective? There's a huge difference between being busy and effective. And one of the most important things to get right in a company, it's something I'm big on, is installing the structure. The weekly rhythm of checking, holding people accountable, checking all the data, checking the numbers, avoiding the chaos, avoiding things going out of control, looking down the pipe. What have we got coming up? Where is that going to go wrong? What's that going to cost us? What's the potential of this? What are the risks? This is what you need to master in this business, in this industry, because it is a risky industry. Cost can change out of nowhere. Design and spec can change out of nowhere. If you're not on it, if you're not organised, you're not structured, you will lose money. And ultimately, this all results into decisions not getting made. You might default to, we'll look at that later. We'll see. It depends. Maybe. There's no clear direction. And that's the root cause. Because then what happens is when you operate like this, when you don't make decisions, the team then lacks certainty. And then they underperform. And then you blame them for not being very good at their job. Because you're not owning it. You're not structuring the business right at the front end. And then ultimately that does cost you in opportunity, getting lost. You don't see the opportunities right in front of you. You can't take opportunities because you're stuck in chaos. Problems then drag on site and on projects or in the office with team members or issues. Clients then get frustrated. You don't give them the full time and the respect that they deserve. And then the team morale just crushes. The culture falls off a cliff and the business just starts dwindling and then it stagnates. So whenever I see a business that's stagnated in revenue or growth or profitability, it's because of this. No one's got a firm grip on the whole company. And the thing is that you guys don't really need more information. This is what the mission of the show and the content I put out is giving you the right information, but then actually giving you the backbone and a set of bollocks to actually put it to work and change the inputs so you get better outputs. And this is, look, whenever I need to make a decision in a business, the way my mind works is I just play it out and go, okay, if we do this, what happens? Okay, best case. And most of you look at best case. But what's the worst case? What's the absolute worst that can happen from making this decision? And if you can go to 3 levels deep and go, okay, what if this happens? Okay, and then what? And then what? And then what? And if it's not going to kill the business, make the fucking decision. Make the change. Because there's only a few things that you will actually decide today in a company that will kill you and end you. Most decisions will not have a fatal result. And putting off a decision is worse than making no decision. You are better off making any decision with informed information, the best you've got today, and making it rather than not making a decision, because that will kill a business, I guarantee it. And really, this does link into why you are potentially like this, is because you haven't got a clear vision. This is really the root of all problems, because you're not clear on what you're actually building and why. You're not clear on the business you actually want to build. And as a result, there is no priority. There's no alignment in the company. There's no urgency. And this is where a business will just plateau or go backwards and fail. So you need to ask yourself, and I want you to think about this as I ask you this, what are you actually building this company for? What are you actually in business for? Why are you taking this risk on? What's the purpose of it? Because it's not just to earn a few more quid now, today. And it shouldn't be, because you're never going to make it in business if you've got that attitude. What are you actually doing? What's your dream? What are you actually aspiring to become? Who do you want to be? What type of character do you want to be? What sort of life do you want? What sort of home do you want? What sort of friends do you want? What sort of nice toys do you want? What sort of holidays do you want? What sort of role model do you want to be to your team and your company? This is the vision that you've got to start unpacking. Because without this, you're afraid of structure and you're afraid of growth. You're afraid of bringing people in because you don't know what you're building. How can you build the dream home if you don't know what you're building? The vision is everything. It's that aspirational goal and the destination that you want to get to. It's not just about owning a company and thinking, well, I'd like to just grow a bit. And this is what people always say when I say, what's your goals for the business? Like, oh, I want to grow. Grow what? What does grow mean? That's not a vision. That's vague. And reality is when you say, I just want to grow, it's like saying I want to lose a little bit of weight. It's non-committal. It doesn't expose you to responsibility of committing to the big vision and goals that you've got. It's bullshit. It's lazy. It's wishful thinking and just hope. I would like to grow. Okay, great. So if you're at £2 million today and tomorrow you do £2,001, you've grown. Are you satisfied? Probably fucking not. You've got to wake up and get specific on what you want from the company. What is that in a reality world of the dream vision you've got? But then what is that in the hard numbers? What revenue do you need to be doing? What profit do you need to be making? And what KPIs do you need to actually make that all happen? That's the vision that you need. And this is the truth. Look, If you've related to any of the key points I've said, if you've related to like 3+ to the things that I've said today, I guarantee your business is leaking profit right now. Without growing it, you're leaking profit today. And it's not a capability problem. You are highly capable. You can deliver. You can take stress. You can take responsibility. I know that about you, and I know that about me, because this is not an easy industry to be in. And it's not a market problem. The revenue's out there, the work is out there. You can go and get it. But the problem is you've got an identity problem. The problem is you've got a standards problem. You've got a leadership problem, and you must evolve. It's not optional. If you want to grow, if you want to get to the 5 million plus mark, this is not optional. This is not nice to have. This is not fluff. This is not the sprinkles on the cake. You need to be someone that goes from being an operator to an owner. And you need to go from being reactive to being intentional about your day and what you actually execute on and get done. You need to go from being busy to being highly effective. And you need to stop wanting to be needed by the business and actually be in a position where you are replaceable, where you've got people that are better than you, better skilled and quicker than you at the key functions of the company. And you need to stop hiding and being comfortable and avoiding confrontation and start becoming the person that's demanding, because you need to demand this from everyone. In the business, you've got to demand the standards and what is required to grow the company, because this is the bottom line. As we wrap up this episode of the show, business is the most aggressive mirror you will ever look into. It shows who is naked and who's equipped. And a company will only grow to the level of your standards and your level of thinking. The owner's at the top. It only will grow to that standard. If you've got shit standards going on in your own world, in your own head, you will not grow a company. And it comes down to your ability to make the right big decisions quickly. So if you want to build a business at 5 million plus, maybe knocking on the 10 million door plus business, you have to become that person first. You have to have a 5 million pound plus mindset and outlook and execution level. There is no other way. And if you think there is, you will fail miserably in this business. Quick one, guys. If you're doing over £1 million a year in revenue, but you know the business is not quite where it should be for how much work you put in, maybe the margins are slipping, maybe cash is a bit tight, maybe everything depends on you a little bit too much, I guarantee you've got leaks in the business. Real profit leaks that need fixing quickly. The first step is to find the leaks, and that's why I built the 100K profit leak audit, to show you exactly where you are losing money, what is inefficient, and what needs to be fixed first. No fluff to it, there's no complicated accountant language, it's just total clarity on the business. You'll find the link below this. Go and take the 100K profit leak audit now. That's the best place to start.